right there, Steve. It was right there. The Panthers scored 31 points. I don't think we thought that was going to happen. If you told me they scored 31, I would have said,
you lie.
I think they won this game. Or you're lying. But that's the second most ever for the franchise in a postseason game. Before we get into the game and what happens this offseason with the Panthers, what was that stadium like on Sunday? I saw you out there on the field with the mic.
Yeah, that stadium was rocking. It was such a exciting atmosphere. The city was rocking since 10:30 in the morning. I had to go rehearse that. And I had to go to the stadium at 11 and did a few things. People were tailgating, carpooling, Ubering, partying, drinking, celebrating, ready. It was smokers out there, smokers, and meaning, I'm in North Kakalaki. Those smokers, I'm not talking about druggies. I'm talking about they smoking ribs, pork butt, short ribs, glizzies, right? They had it all. And then you got the cheese and wine. You got the cheese and wine crowd. They got their
cheese and wine.
Cabernet and their charcuterie boards, and right, and then you got the
golf carts are going around probably.
Yes,
right?
you got
Dropping
the Hawaiian sliders. The Hawaiian sliders going on. Then you got the Bojangles with the picnic fries and the Bowberry biscuits. And then you just got folks out there just getting hammered, right? And it was really exciting and fun to watch this city wake up and get behind the players. Man, it was so many bigwigs. They brought Cam Newton back out. That was really dope to see that, how the fans really took that in. What I believe that has transpired with the Carolina Panthers making the playoffs, I don't care what their record is. It don't matter. They were in the dance. Your team wasn't. What I love is they gave these fans something to look forward to in 2026. And they actually raised the expectation.
There it is. I think, Steve, it's awesome that all those guys were back and you were back. And I thought it was really cool that T-Mac, the first thing he said at the podium was, I love seeing all these former Panthers here in the building supporting us in the postseason. He said thank you to all of you guys when he took the podium. And I think what they went out and did with all of you there in attendance and went, toe-to-toe with what a lot of people think might be the team that wins the Super Bowl in the Rams.
They went toe-to-toe.
And what did they do? I think what they did, and they proved to themselves and to all the fans in Carolina that the belief is real. We can play with anybody. We can beat anybody on any given day. We belonged here. This wasn't too big for us. It wasn't too big for our quarterback. He loved the atmosphere. He wants it like that all the time moving forward. I think it was important, even though they lost, that they lived up to what all you guys kind of created pregame, which was this atmosphere, and they lived up to that, and there's a belief moving forward in what they can accomplish and kind of achieve. Do you want to talk about the game first, or you want to talk about what we might see this offseason and in 2026 first? What do you want to do?
I want to talk about the game first.
Okay.
I think it's extremely important that we need to talk about the game, because that's going to lead me to the offseason decisions that the Carolina Panthers are going to have to make and to improve what they already have built upon. And then what would this defense look like if you sprinkle in some veteran players that actually what you can, and you can count on what kind of production you're going to get.
I wrote down edge, off-ball linebacker, playmaker. Thoughts? You going to go get Trey Hendrickson? He's going to be available. He's done in Cincinnati. You want a veteran like that to come off the edge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's why I want a veteran like that. Because they got a lot of young edge rushers right now. They got Princely, who is a rookie from Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, and they have Nick, who he's a rookie for Texas A&M. And then Claudius Sherlis, he just wrapped up his third year, so he's heading into his fourth year. He's an inside linebacker, but he's going into a contract year.
Mm-hmm.
So what do people see in him? Because he's gotten better each year. He's not a finished product. But the most important thing, I believe, defensively, right, if Mike Jack doesn't stay back, and let me say this, Mike Jack has been...
just say it.
Like, Mike Jack's been balling
mm-hmm.
for half of the season, bro.
Mm-hmm.
See, we get late performances confused with the whole season performances, because you got to remember, earlier in the season, he wasn't a shutdown corner.
Mm-hmm.
But it was brought to my attention. I read the article. It talked about how he has so much anxiety and got overthought and got in his head so much that this is a fifth-round draft pick who was drafted by the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Then he played with New England, played with some other teams. Obviously, then he, 1 or 2 years, most teams, and then he was in Seattle and then got traded. His words, not my words, and I don't believe that that's the case, but his words is he got traded to Carolina from Seattle for a bag of chips. That's what he said. I don't think it
depends on the chips.
He's a bag of chips. I love the transformation and his willingness to say, hey, I'm an overthinker, and I got to just let myself play. And when he lets himself play, man, he's really, really good. Mm-hmm. But he has had a little bit of this roller coaster, a little bit, right? And here's why he's had the roller coaster, because whether you like him or not, whether you agree with it or not, you're always going to seem like a roller coaster when you got Mr. Consistent on the other side, and that's J.C. Horn.
It sucks he went down at the end of that game. The Rams saw it, knew it, used it to their advantage.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm really concerned about is inside linebacker with Wallace. What do they do with him? Do they continue to still allow him to develop? But here's what I need, and I'm talking about an offseason, still staying on the defense. You need a running mate for Derrick Brown.
Great year. Maybe the most underrated year of the season across the NFL, possibly.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I mean a running mate, it's like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Those two guys are peanut butter and jelly. Mm-hmm. They're vanilla and a root beer float. You do not enjoy that item without both of those ingredients combined. That's what makes the root beer float a root beer float. You got to have root beer.
Mm-hmm. Man, when they won the Super Bowl, by the way, 2 years ago, remember the other guy that was part of that group? Milton Williams. Like, if you can find a guy that's a rotational guy as well, that can, there's not a drop-off when they come on the field.
Correct.
That's also a big part of it. That allowed other guys, allows Derrick Brown to be fresher, honestly.
Yes.
For some instances.
So there's a guy, though, I think who's super undervalued.
Oh, hit me.
Man, Bobby Brown III.
Okay.
He played sparingly. He had a few snaps, but there were times, man, when he was on the field, he was dominating. And he was running with Derrick Brown. And Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, those two guys, I'm saying that because I didn't notice it. I don't think enough people notice it. But I remember KK Short when he was lined up next to Star. Star would really command the double team, and that allowed KK to get active and win that fist fight in the phone booth and win his one-on-one battle, and it was ridiculous. Then Star goes to Buffalo, gets paid, contracts up, he goes to Buffalo, and that's when you saw the deterioration and the numbers start to climb. And then KK, who was a strong finesse nose tackle, 3 technique, he was getting injured. He started to wear down. His ability to impact the game lessened because he didn't have that running mate. And I think if you can give Derrick Brown a running mate, I think he could be even better. Think about that. He can be even better.
Steve,
and when I talk about a running
play
mate,
off each other so well. Like
they feed off each other. They all of a sudden it's like you start having internal wages. Wages not like betting, but like, bet you I can get a quarterback before you, because if I get a quarterback for you, that's my sack. Right? Hey, let's switch up. You hear guys, hey, let me get on the left side. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett lines up everywhere on the field.
Yes.
Like to get that 23rd sack, man, that dude was damn near on the sideline when
I thought he was playing corner.
Right?
comes that wide nine type of look, yeah.
Yes. So that is what I want to see. Now, heading in off season, what they have to do and they got to figure out, right, is we saw it right before our eyes. Go back and look at what I said, and I love Xavier Legette. Now, you kind of had a game he had, and you ride dollar bill, you ride your horse. Now you put more eyeballs on yourself. Now people are starting to give, say little comments and try to make it seem like he doesn't care about football. He's interested in all these other things. I don't believe that's true. Right? This is a business. Everybody has their brand. But what we saw is Jalen Kohler took the number 2 wide receiver spot from Xavier Legette.
What did we talk about on the show, Steve, before this game? Talk about it. You talked about it.
Yeah. Because I already knew that the Los Angeles Rams were going to should be the offensive rookie of the year, T-Mac. They wanted to minimize his impact in the passing game. Get Bryce Young to look somewhere else. But here's the problem, and you saw it earlier in the game. It became problematic, and sometimes a lot of those interceptions or inerrant throws that Bryce Young had when the pressure got to him, he was not set in his feet. So they needed a number 2 wide receiver to step up. They did that. T-Mac, he started in the second half after the adjustments, he started to impact the game. This is just maybe I favor him. That's fine. I think if you give Jimmy Horn more opportunities, he doesn't drop that pass.
That's interesting. All right, stay there for a second, because I do want to remind everybody, when we talked before the game and we were breaking this down on 89, Steve and I were having a discussion about the emphasis is going to be stopping T-Mac. He has such a large share of their passing game. It's one of the highest in the NFL. That's what the Rams are going to do.
40%.
They're well coached, right? That's what they do.
It might be 35, but it's
something like that. It was like top 5, top 6 in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
In terms of the passing game. And then you and I were sitting here going, well, Jalen Coker might be the guy that comes in and plays that complementary role. And we know that him and Bryce have spent a ton of time in practice, extra time after practice, working on their chemistry, because Bryce, Dave Canales, I think Coker himself, probably Steve, all believe that he has the ability to be a very good receiver in this league. I think you've thought that for a while. With Jimmy Horn, some people have mentioned that the third thing that they need, now that it looks like those might be your 1 and your 2, T-Mac and Coker, that they need to add a speed guy.
That might?
No, it is. That's your 1-2.
He took that.
Yeah, that's your 1-2.
They'll be the starter.
Yes. So the compliment to that, everybody goes, well, they need to go find a speed guy. I feel like he's on the roster.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not crazy. But you think just getting him implemented more, there's a different feel with Jimmy Horn Jr.
Here's a tough thing to do, and I saw a dude do it at a high level. Not everybody can sit on the bench through several series and wait for his chance and be spot on for 1 or 2 plays, like Ricky Pro was for the St. Louis Rams at the time and for the Carolina Panthers. I watched Ricky, at times he'd be sitting on the bench. We go 2-3 series. He didn't even get in the game. Come out there, choo-choo, get a little 15-yard first down. Mm-hmm. And then go right back to the sideline. For a young player who's learning an offense, who's being taught a different role, because I'm not going to get into it, but you know his old offense coordinator, how he was, did not help him.
It almost makes it into every episode somehow.
I don't. It does, because it was horrendous.
Mm-hmm. But you remember, we were at that showcase, and you kept
at his showcase
up in Boulder. You're going, man, I love the way this kid plays.
Yes, but when you're sitting there and you're a young player and you're itching, I mean, bro, allergic to not playing, like shingles, hives. You're like, what do I do? Give me some calamine lotion. It's burning, right? Poison ivy, right?
I like that voice.
Yeah, yes, he caught it, but I'm telling you, that has to do with the lack of involvement. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just telling you how the football brain works. Mm-hmm. Right? We always, especially us guys, we've all heard this story. You ever seen a dog stretch before he run and chase you? No, but I have a dog. I've seen it stretch a number of times and go right down.
Every time it gets up.
Thank you.
And lays back down usually.
Exactly. So, yes, I've seen a dog stretch. And my point is, and I think Jimmy Horn is a dog, roof, that can play. But he's also young, and so you're going to have that emotional up and down. And that plays with your psyche. Even though you don't realize it, but then when you drop it, you go, well, damn, man, I've been sitting on the bench for damn near 5 minutes, and you ain't give me an opportunity.
Yeah. Start thinking.
That goes into it. And the same thing with Xavier. The same thing with the tight ends. Let's go down the line. Rico Dowdle. He gone.
Why?
He is not declared. Bro, he is not re-signing. 5 attempts, 9 yards, 1.8. His longest run is 8. And then you gave Chuba Hubbard 13 for 46, 3.5, a long of 8, 2 touchdowns. What was interesting in watching that game is it wasn't even close. It doesn't even feel like Rico was on the field for 5 plays. It almost felt like he wasn't on the field at all. And this whole, we're going to go with the hot hand, neither one of them was hot.
Mm-mm. And we said that had to happen for a win. Yeah.
And they just couldn't get the run game going. But that isn't because Rico or Chuba aren't very good. That has to go with, you got to give credit to the other team. Mm-hmm. Those are some mother suckers now. You mother sucker.
Yeah. And what did this run game do to them last time they faced them?
Gashed them.
Pushed them back every single down. Everybody's falling forward. Offensive line. Yes. You don't think they didn't have a chip on their shoulder up front? Going, this run game just worked us the last time we played? Like,
I saw Sean. Yeah, I saw Sean on the sideline. I said, hey, Coach, give us some grace now. He said, man, last time we was in here, y'all whooped us. Don't give me that, Steve.
Yes. Damn. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house, it's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, so when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the US, download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. that's going to be a change. There's going to be other changes on that offensive side of the ball. Let's stick with it. They got 19 free agents, 5 on the offensive line. There's going to be some movement there, and it all centers around the quarterback, right? And they believe they're predicting. I think Dan Morgan came out and said it while we're recording this episode that they're expected to pick up Bryce Young's 5th-year option. That almost, you and I had that conversation before, was a no-brainer that you're going to pick it up. I don't know if you're doing an extension this offseason, but you're certainly picking up the option, like Dan Morgan said. What did you learn from Bryce this year as we saw a season again? And I know stats play a different role, but it's him and Josh Allen that have improved win percentage, completion percentage, passer rating, and sack rate in each of their first 3 seasons. He's the first guy to throw for over 20 touchdowns since Cam Newton. Did you see the proper growth from Bryce that you were hoping for, expecting for? What do you look for from what you saw?
I saw growth in Bryce Young that you want to see in all your young players, especially a guy whether it's a receiver, tight end, whatever position, but obviously at the quarterback position, you want to see improvement. And let's be honest, he's improved.
Certainly has.
But he also has still, in this improvement, in this really good season, he's had some inconsistency. It was not a perfect game for him. There were little small things that he did that cost the offense momentum. The Jalen Coker pass where he goes, they're playing zone coverage, he runs an in route, he throttles down, Bryce throws it. Let me tell you, that is what we talk about, chemistry. That's important because here's what I'm telling you the quarterback is doing. The quarterback's like, all right, you keep going. The receiver go, you better not keep throwing that damn ball and lead me. And so you say, is he leading me? Oh, it can't be to me. Oh, shit. It was to me, right? That's where you allow your 2 young players. They got to have these mistakes to talk about it and to practice it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Coker, he's a hard worker. So is Bryce. That's gonna be one of the things that they're gonna talk about, and that's where Bryce is gonna have to. Right? They picked up his 5th-year option to get that six-year check, contract, new deal, is now you got to take that step forward in owning, mastering your craft and go, okay, you got to start now understanding and watching the body language of your receiver to know, hey, when he sees this, I know I need to throw it here because I'm protecting him and vice versa. Yeah. But they haven't been in that situation before. They have never been in a big-time playoff game, and they need a big play, and there's a little bit of fog on the windshield. And they're going, do we do the defrost? That is where you have that, where you got to develop that chemistry, and that chemistry is saying, I know what Bryce is thinking, and Bryce knows what Coker's thinking.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They seem to work on it quite a bit, from my understanding, and that chemistry seems to be really
they
building.
work on it.
And these are steps, right? These are like, you want to take these things to the next level. You want to take the offense to the next level. When I ask around the league about the Panthers, Steve, is exactly what you said at the beginning of the comment about Bryce Young is it's inconsistent. The offense is inconsistent. The quarterback play has been inconsistent. Do you see those flashes? Do you see those moments where you go, yeah, I see this? How do you start doing it on a more consistent basis? I believe Bryce thinks he's taken a larger ownership of this offense. I think that's a big, big part of what happens at the quarterback spot. If you ask anybody around the league, Steve, what year do they usually say you start getting ownership of the offense? Year 3, you start to make it essentially yours as a quarterback. That's pretty universal across the league. From Jordan Love on down, as guys start saying year 3, you start taking ownership of it.
Here's the caveat I need to throw that in there, or my 2 cents is year 3, year 2 in this offense. First year he's made it through a whole season of being a starting quarterback in this offense with his play caller, because his rookie year he had 2 different play callers with different personalities.
Was it only 2?
It was no, yeah, it was 3. It was 3 after they were fired. So he just had he had different people in his ear.
Exactly. So that's my point. When I say year 3,
Yeah.
that's 2026, right?
But,
so like,
yes, but
that's when if
but
he's getting that feeling now, that's a good thing.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
here's the thing that I'm concerned about. And I hear people, and especially after this game, people are like, man, Bryce showed us that he's our quarterback of the future. I'm not saying that he's not. But here's the question. Do you sign Bryce right now, or do you let him play it out in this 5th year? Because, the Joneses, that's the thing I love about football is the football world goes with the Joneses.
Gotta keep up.
Yes. You got to keep up. And, APY, average per year. And average per year right now, Miami, Josh Allen, who else? Joe Burrow. And these dudes are $40, $50 million towards the cap.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is Bryce Young showing you that he's going to be a really good quarterback, or is he on the cusp of showing you that he's going to be a elite quarterback? I don't know.
I think it's a great question. I think you have to let him play this year and not do the contract this offseason. I just think it would be malpractice to jump at it. I think, if you ask Bryce honestly, I think he'd probably say he'd almost agree with ownership and Dan Morgan and company about, it's not like he's shown everything. I would be curious because there's those bad deals that you've mentioned, whether it's the Tua deal or some people, I know he played great the back end of this year, but the Trevor Lawrence deal down in Jacksonville, these guys are all in the 50s. And you're right. Like, is that the type of number you want to put? I'm curious why nobody wants to be like, hey, this is probably what you are. This is where you're at court. But quarterback doesn't really work that way. It's always this incremental things that keep growing at the position for some reason.
I had a conversation with someone who explained it to me well. He was like, man, they have to wrap their heads around, especially in the quarterback position, all this money. Man, everybody wants to have getting paid the top. Mm-hmm. And, man, you got to remember, old school football used to be, look, your starting quarterback, we love him. We want him to be here long term. But we're not paying him in the top 10 when he's maybe 16th or 17th quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's going to be the 15th highest paid quarterback, not the 3rd highest paid quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to be interesting of how
right?
these teams now can convince their franchise quarterbacks and their agents and their agencies to get paid what they're worth of the team, not get paid for what the next guy is getting.
100%. And that's oftentimes, and you know this, a conversation that the agent and the player are having with the NFLPA, because the NFLPA wants guys to continue to get paid.
Yes.
And you want to break those spots. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is the 15th highest paid quarterback in terms of average per year. Tom Brady was never the highest paid quarterback in the NFL at any point of his career. There are certain guys that obviously know that they can get money a lot of other ways as well and understand how you build a team and structure a team, not knocking the guys that are at the top. A lot of them well-deserving at the top, being Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or whoever it might be. But you're right. I think all of those conversations in terms of a team-building aspect, and I do kind of think Bryce is wired that way, in terms of how they're going to go about this moving forward. I hope. I hope. The other part, and I'm going to say this before we go, like, you're going to play a first-place schedule this year in 2026. That changes it as well. So you got 6 teams. You got 6 teams on there that made the postseason that are going to be a part of your schedule as well for winning the division.
Another thing that they need offensively is with Brooks. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen with Brooks? You know, he's a pickup. He was a steal in the second round. If he wouldn't have got hurt, he was a first-round draft pick. They bring him back. He tries to play, re-aggravates it, tears his knee. You know, how healthy is Brooks? What has happened to his knee? How much of his knee is, and how much is it stunted or limited? his explosiveness. How explosive is he? Because his explosiveness is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
That's
with
a really good
two ACLs on the same knee,
Yeah.
right? And I've shared this. When you have any kind of surgery, you lose a small. But think about it. If you got two back to back, you lose two small percentages of mobility and strength when you are exposed and open up and sewn and stapled back together.
Same conversation for the left tackle.
Yep.
That's a big injury.
But here's the thing with the left tackle. You got some areas with your backup guys that they're backups for a reason. And you got some starters that if their contract's coming up, is there an alternative? Is there a cheaper and better? Because they have the thing that people don't really realize with Dan Morgan is Dan Morgan has to draft, and the draft is where you build your core.
Yes.
You got to build the people that are going to be playing special teams, not the quarterback, but playing special teams here and there, that when they become available for contract-wise, that they're not asking for the moon.
That middle class group's valuable, man.
That middle class group is valuable. And let me tell you, man, that's the body of your vehicle. Your quarterback, he's the driver. He's the windshield. But your tight end, the number 2 tight end who's playing on special teams, man, old school. He's the crank. He's the one that's rolling down the window. Then you got your backup swing center guard, like a Kate Mays. You don't need him until you need him. Now you got a flat tire, and that man is he is the jack and the spare.
We're back on the road. Here we go.
Yeah, we back. And so you need those types of players. So this offensive line with Robert Hunt, they got to decide if, how many more years can they count on Taylor Moton. Ike Ekwonu, they have to figure that's going to be a long process, right? So he's not going to be available week 1. He's not going to be available in training camp because I think he tore his knee, right? Okay. Chandler Savala, he was his running mate. When he's healthy, he's decent, but he ain't never healthy, and he hadn't been healthy, and he struggled in pass protection. So you got to figure out a few things of what you're gonna do. That it's gonna be tough. You just can't make those decisions. With we'll just pay him because we like how he is in the locker room.
You also are, and I don't know if this is entirely true, but this is some vibe around the league, Steve. Like in the type of offensive lineman you get and bring in to Carolina, you are, I don't want to say limited, but you have to be more specific in who you put in front of Bryce because of the way he plays the quarterback position. So that's part of the equation as well.
Go a little deeper on that. Explain that. Explain that to me. Hey, dumb that down for 8-9, please.
So when I ask around, obviously Bryce plays it in a very specific manner in which that his traits allow. Size plays a part in the type of group you can put in front of him. You have to make sure that you can protect from the inside out really, really well. And he's not alone in this, obviously, with the way he plays. Some guys are exactly identical in the manner in which he does it. So there is a part of the traits of Bryce play a part into the traits you're looking for on specific offensive line.
And you want to talk about how
it's similar to scheme, right? Like if you're running one of those Kyle Shanahan type schemes, you want those guys that are athletic up front and they're moving and they're zone blocking all over the place. It's all part of how you put it together, and it's what you're looking for.
And with a young quarterback to help him develop, most people naturally believe it's tackles but it's not the tackle. It's the center and the guard.
It's that 3 right there.
That center and guard, if your quarterback can comfortably step up and sit in the pocket and deliver a pass, it begins with the center and 2 guards. It doesn't begin with the tackle. The tackles are hard to find. That's why they're paid so much. But, man, what was gold, titanium, is the center and the guard. You got to have those guys because that helps your quarterback feel more comfortable. And if you go back and look right now at the quarterbacks that we named or we believe is really good, what do they have? They got a really good center and two really good guards.
That has changed Bo Nix's life. It changed the course of the Chiefs' second era with Patrick Mahomes when they went and got Creed Humphrey and they bring in Joe Tooney in free agency and get Trey Smith in the draft. Those three, they were almost like, we don't care about the tackle. It's these three, and Pat can go make plays. So you're right, really good point. I'm excited though, Steve.
I'm excited too. But here's the last thing though that I left out. One of the things that was really good about the football game that we watched with the Carolina Panthers. But what I don't want is that excitement and enthusiasm to only be in the playoffs, because you and I both know Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night. Man, back in the day, Sunday night football, Monday night football, if it was on there, it was cranking. Regular season. Yeah. Let's not have so much excitement only when it's the playoffs. You have to be, fans and players have to show up in a regular season before you can make the playoffs. Make that place a difficult place to play in. Denver has done that. The atmosphere that was in Carolina, that's every damn day in Denver, right? When they're playing. That's every day in Pittsburgh, right? Baltimore. There are teams that playoff atmosphere is in a regular season. What's the difference? People were getting slobber knocked. That's the difference. I don't care about the fans. The fans were cheering, blah, blah. New England's the same way. But the difference and the elevation of your game is the punishment you give a guy for how dare you catch that football. Oh, you going to catch it? I'm going to try to put you to sleep. And it was a ton of bruising football hits by both teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Houston Texans. And that's what I want to see in Carolina, where the regular season is so much that you gotta be dead not to have your juices flowing, ready to go, and to run through somebody. And that's the difference in playoff football.